Hello loves, welcome back to TigeraGitana. Today we are going to do another Orisha story time. As always, this is when we kind of like analyze one of the stories from this book. We're using this is going to be our textbook for this. This is called The African Narratives of the Orisha Spirits and Other Deities, and the link to this will be down below. The author is Alex Kwoku, and he wrote a textbook, y'all. It's a textbook, y'all. So we are currently in the process of studying this book together, and I wanted to share one of the stories because I know in the last story that we spoke about Osun and Sango was not necessarily a positive, like super like, positive story. Granted, not all the stories are going to be that way, but I do feel like there is emphasis on different Orishas to be a certain way. Osun and Sango get tied up a lot because of their histories together, and so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to look at the other story as well, because I wanted to highlight how their relationship has a lot of toxic elements, and this is why he always ends up with Oya. Anyway, so we're gonna pick a different story because I thought with this story it highlights a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a minute. So this story is in page 202. Okay, it is called Osun Helps Sango Escape from Enemies. Okay, and again, the book will be linked down below if you would like to purchase it yourself and like do your own personal studies. And we'll dive into breaking down some of the messages of the story itself after we go through it. So I'm gonna go ahead and quote the story itself. And it says, long ago, when Sango was fighting a war, he found himself surrounded by enemy warriors. It was a challenging situation in which he was most certainly going to be the loser. Luckily, Osun accompanied him to that war, and when she saw what was happening, she came to his aid. She approached the warriors surrounding Sango, and this is a quote. "What great warriors you are. I think you deserve some entertainment for your bravery." Osun danced in a seductive manner and sang, "Oh, great warriors, how brave you are. Oh, great warriors, your eyes will follow me far. Come, brave men, you have nothing to fear. Come, brave warriors, good times are near." The warriors focused their attention on Osun and her sweet, enchanting voice. They fell under her magical spell and became distracted. She continued to sing magical spells, dancing away. While under her spell, the warriors followed her and moved further away from Sango, who escaped unharmed. In this manner, Osun helped Sango escape fierce warriors. Okay? So this story really highlights something that I feel like needs to be talked about, because this story kind of falls into like the element of glamour magic if you're looking at what kind of area of magic this taps into. The really cool thing about Osun is that Osun has definitely many paths, and there's different ways that she uses obviously her energies, but she is also very, very good at glamour magic and illusions. Okay, now glamour magic is really cool because I think that it highlights an aspect of us that is inherently more feminine in nature, or more, it's like very Piscean energy when you look at Pisces energy. Granted, Pisces is a dual energy, so it goes both ways, but there is this aspect of glamour magic that is about the subtleties, is about falling in between the line. It's about kind of, portraying what you want to be seen as, while it having a whole entire different purpose or meaning behind it. It is a very, very powerful form of magic that is used by a lot of people without even people knowing that they're using it. For example, makeup artists, I would say, are glamour witches because they are actively using their skills to create, to change the features, to accentuate certain things in order to look a certain way, whether it be like through really being like very crafty with it, or like creating really cool designs, or actively creating shadows and different things in the face where they weren't there, so it accentuates it, it makes you look different. There is a sultriness that comes from it as well, because not all kind of like, and makeup artists and stuff like that, they don't all just work on one specific field, but there is a illusion aspect. It's about you creating a canvas and making it into what you want. So it does fall into like that Piscean energy, that kind of like, it can be used as a distraction. It can be used to call people towards you. It can be used to magnetize people towards you. It can be used to, it can be used to harm people too, because you can also make yourself seem as something that you're actually not. So there's levels to glamour magic, there's levels to illusion magic, which is what this falls into. And it's interesting because Osun is always connected to this feminine, very feminine energy, and so she uses a lot in some of the stories, she uses her femininity in order to get herself out of situations, or to once tapping into her own femininity, she finds the answer to her situation. While if you look at what's happening with Sango in the story, it's almost like, there's this battle going on that he cannot, there's no solution out of it that sees him winning, unless that feminine component, that softness comes in and is able to kind of sway. It's almost like calms it down a little bit, because when you have too much of Sango's energy, which is very much connected to like divine masculine energy, it is highlighting domination, power, control, which is what the divine masculine is associated by. When you highlight those things, and when you're saying, hey, we're just gonna keep forcing our way through, this is what we're gonna continue to do, like blah blah blah, I'm just gonna keep, like, if you keep fighting and fighting and fighting, nothing's gonna get resolved, because you're still gonna have two parties fighting it off. Oshun's energy comes in and says, hey, let's just talk about something else. Let's go eat something. I think you're hungry. Let's go sit down. And like all of a sudden you forgot why you were even arguing with the other person. It is very much a very powerful form of part of the craft. And it is something that I feel like everyone should have in their arsenal, because you can use it in different ways. It doesn't have to be like malicious or, intent that way, because she didn't use it in a malicious intent. She was trying to help him. She was genuinely trying to help him. And so when you look at these stories, specifically this one, the Orishas use their abilities in the best way that they can use their abilities. So for Osun, she's not going to pick up a sword and start fighting people off, with Sango. That's not where her power and abilities are. And this really speaks to you using your own skills, what you're good at, to play a role, to play your part in whatever situation it is. If you feel like you need to step in, if you feel like you need to partake or state your opinion, or advocate for something, whatever it is, do it in your own way. Don't try to force yourself to fit into someone else's power and abilities, because we don't all have the same powers and like the same abilities. We all don't, we have our own particular way and areas which we are best at. There are some people that are really, really good at, money and that type of work. And there's some people that are really good at court spells. There are some people that are really good at hexes. There are some people that are really, really good at, at like luck kind of magic, or even like any type of like protection work. They're just really, really good at that. And there's some people that are not. There's some people that are good at one thing but not the other. And so how they can help in the situation is by addressing it in what they're best at with their own skills. And so it's really important to understand how we play a role, and how others might not understand the role that we're playing. Like if we're coming into a situation, or we're trying to help somebody out of an issue or whatnot, how our own personal skills can actually help direct the conversation. And not only can save someone in the process, but it can actually switch the perspective where it can a different conversation can be had. So there's a lot of power and ability. This story really speaks to you being yourself. It speaks to you understanding who you are and working with who you are, being who you are, and allowing yourself to play your role in the situations that we end up in within our lifetimes. And there's a lot of power in that. There's a lot of power in just, you know, saying like, hey, you know, I'm not the sword person, I'm this person, so let me just, you know, I'm gonna see if I can just do something else with this. I'm gonna see if I can address it in a different way. There's a lot of power in that, just as much as there's power in Sango, in the power that, you know, he has to create action and to push back around whatever it is that they were fighting about, because it doesn't say what they were fighting about. But regardless of the fact, there's a lot of there's power in both. But the moral of the story is that sometimes in order to see the resolution to certain things, you're going to need to think of a different outcome, a different perspective. You're going to have to think differently. You're going to have to think out of the box, or even collaborate with someone else that can maybe give you a different types of 2 cents. And that can help you kind of change the mindset of how you're approaching something. If you keep budging and budging and budging and thinking, this is the only way that I know how to make this work, collaborate with someone else. This is, you know, when people like get readings and get, you know, guidance, because they're like, you know, I've been fighting this battle like the same way for a really long time and I haven't been able to, you know, budge around this. What do I do? And so this, you know, brings a resolution to that question, and says, hey, well, have you tried looking for guidance? Have you tried talking to elders? Have you tried like, let's say you have a friend that's really, really good, or really intuitive, or really gives great advice, or, you know, this could be even like a medical issue that you maybe been trying to solve all on your own, and you're just like, oh, I tried different things and different that and all that stuff. But have you spoken to other professionals? Have you spoken to like different people in the field? Have you gotten second opinions? Because there are some people that are also biased. So there's just different levels to kind of understand this, but there's a lot of power in this story, and it speaks to how we need to think differently, and how there's power in the feminine as well. The divine feminine is a powerful energy source, and it cannot be downplayed to the domination and the physical power that the divine masculine brings, because we both carry the divine feminine and divine masculine energies within our bodies. So it's all about how we choose to use them at the same time, but also recognizing that we might be really good at one versus the other. So yeah, definitely drop your comments in the comment box. Let me know how you felt about the story. I definitely wanted to just add a story that, you know, was a little bit of a mirroring or different than the last one, because I felt like, you know, I don't want us to just be like, oh, Sango, you know, I want us to like be able to like look at the stories, look at the meanings, look at what it's trying to communicate, look at the different messages within the story, dissect the story, study the stories. So yeah, that's some of the things that I got out of it, out of the story. I think is a very powerful story. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought of the story. And if you want to, you can go ahead and pick which Orisha you want me to cover next in the comments as well. And, you know, maybe that will be the choice for the next time. I always just kind of do like the bibliomancy, and I'm just like, okay, Spirit, which story do you want me to talk about today? And that's just kind of how I've been picking them. But yeah, anyway, thank y'all for just like literally everything. I just came back from Puerto Rico, and I'm still kind of like settling, but it's been absolutely beautiful. You guys have been so loving and so supporting, and I'm just really excited for July, because lots of readings. I think I'm fully booked for July. Actually, you guys kind of did that, so thank you for all the love, all the support, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and do all of the things. Don't forget the link to the book if you want to get it for yourself and study it yourself. It will be down below.